going on, guys? Barricade here. I had to make a video with regards to Diablo 4 and my overall thoughts and opinions about build guides and what maybe you should be thinking about now that June's coming up in about 2 months. So the number one takeaway, the number one thing that I think people should be considering from their beta experience is, what class did you have fun playing the most? Because other than that, a lot of what we're talking about doesn't matter all that much, and I'll explain later. If you enjoyed playing the Necromancer, or you're able to align with a certain class, like for me, it was the Rogue or the Barb. Those are the two that I'm really salivating over and really considering for playing when the retail game launches June 2nd, if you got Digital Deluxe or Ultimate, or June 6th, if you've got the regular version. So if you're able to find a class that you could align with, I think that's number one. That's paramount. That is the thing that's like right on, man. For example, maybe you loved playing the Landslide Druid. Maybe you did, right? Who knows? I enjoyed Rogue, Melee Rogue, not so much ranged. I enjoyed the Rend build for Barb. Whirlwind was cool. Upheaval does a lot of damage. The highest I saw from a Barbarian is about 11 million damage, which is already like unbelievable, level 25. But it's not real, right? And let me explain why. Inside the beta, the early access beta and the open beta for everybody, right? We had a level 25 character capped. We got no introduction to the Paragon board. We had a 3x drop rate increase for the beta, so we had more stuff. We could trade legendaries, which I believe is not going to be the case when Diablo 4 launches in June. So there's a lot of itemization enhancements that happened so we could test different builds in the game. And I think that's great. I think that was a smart choice from the devs. Letting us try different builds out and see what's good is a smart choice, but it may not be great at level 100. And let me explain. Inside the retail version of Diablo, there's unique items that we never got access to. How those uniques impact our gameplay is yet to be seen. How the Paragon board makes a character feel after you hit level 50 has yet to be seen. And unlike Diablo 3, Diablo 4 does have a cap on Paragon, which I think is awesome. So the max level in Diablo 4 is level 100 with 15 Renown. You get Renown by completing certain objectives inside of a world, such as Fractured Peaks, Hawazar, so on and so forth, right? So there is a ceiling there, which means me and you have to make some tough choices for the end game. And the end game, as far as I know, in Diablo 4 is not doing, Anika's Claim or Dead Man's Dredge, which are two oval maps that we enjoyed inside of the beta because there was just easy champ farming to try and get items, right? Which is already fun. That was cool. But there's going to be more. Hell tides, right? Certain areas affected by demonic activity, kind of like terror zones in Diablo 2 is kind of what I'm thinking. So you go to these areas, you farm hell tides, you get fiend roses, which are important for re-rolling legendaries. Who knows what the end game is going to be? I'm just guessing based on what we've seen from developer posts and things like that. A lot of copium in this video, I'm sure, but I want to just sort of set the precedent of the build guides that you might be watching may not be true for you because it's going to be difficult to find items in Diablo 4. Like, again, we had a 3x increased drop rate. So would you be killing things as fast if you didn't have all those legendaries and the synergies of them? Not so much. A good example would be like barrier builds, right? If you got a barrier build, your character was doing what? 40% increased damage? That's all well and good, and maybe we get there in time, but you're not going to be farming dungeons like this when you're level 25. You're going to be playing through the storyline and going through different acts, and maybe you hit these legendaries, maybe you do, but don't rely on that. Aim for that. That might be the end game grind goal for you in a build that you enjoy. But the number one thing you should be taking away is what class, what spec did you like most, and aim for that. And then maybe you'll find some legendaries that accent that. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to find some uniques that do the same thing. So again, a lot of videos out there saying build guides. And I understand if you don't know where to start, that's what a build guide's for. It's like, hey, this is pretty successful. Start here, but go your own way with the build, right? Maybe you find a legendary that's not posted in that build. Then what do? You got a bunch of question marks. That's the good stuff. You trying to figure out how to make your gameplay enhanced because of awesome items that you find in the game, I think is a good thing. I actually think that might be the best thing to get out of a brand new game like this is equipping something powerful and feeling like a god, if only for a few levels, right? I think that's going to be the thing that you might want to invest your time into is that experience, right? Of good itemization. Anyway, kind of going off on a diatribe there, but I just want to set expectations a little bit. I enjoyed the beta myself, but I can see a lot of content coming out. This is what you should do. This is the best. And while it's true, there's a 359k upheaval that was nuts. Like, that's a lot of damage in a beta. It's also true that there's an 11 million whirlwind hit from the same class, both being the Barb. However, I could also show you a Shava content on a melee rogue where you just melt the boss because you have such rapidity, so much attack speed on that single target. Like, Rogue, in my opinion, is the #1 boss killer in the game. But who knows? At level 100, it could be a Necromancer with a 27k Bone Spear. It could be a Hydra Sorceress. Who knows, right? we only have access up to level 25. And so far, there's already a lot to talk about. That's a good thing. If we were bored and had nothing to talk about, Diablo 4 beta is a snooze. That'd be the saddest thing in the world for this Diablo franchise. I do think that, just my overall opinions, I think artistically, the game's on point. Combat-based, feels like Diablo 3, maybe not so much. I didn't feel that. The pace of play was definitely there for Diablo 4. I like the pace of play, but it's just a different game, right? You can enjoy Diablo 4 and Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 all at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive, right? That's the cool thing. It's another adventure into Diablo, which I think it's about damn time. Let me know what you think about this Diablo 4 beta. Let me know what class you're looking forward to playing most. I want to thank you so much for just watching this video, giving it some consideration, and I'll catch you on the next one. But had to share, man. Level 25 is not the end game. It's not even the beginning. It's like 25% of what the game has to, less than 25% of what the game has to offer. Pretty wild. See you guys in the next one.